Okay, so we're diving into some big ideas again today, right?
Yeah, always a good time for big ideas.
It seems like a lot of you are really into um, tackling these impactful concepts,
Yeah,
but you want to get to the core of them fast.
right to the good stuff.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And so that is exactly what we're going to do today with David J. Schwartz's The Magic of Thinking Big.
That's a classic.
It is.
Big word.
And so we're going to go on this deep dive, together and kind of pull out those key principles, and see if, we can help everyone listening understand how they could really make a difference in what they're trying to achieve, in their own lives.
Especially through their mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, through that power of mindset.
Mindset is everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the central idea this book throws at us
Yeah.
is that thinking big is a real driving force in what you accomplish.
Yeah.
It's basically saying the scale of your thoughts shapes the scale of your success.
Makes sense. I mean, you gotta think it before you can do it, right? Absolutely. And I think it's interesting how Schwartz really leans into this concept of belief. He makes the case that believing in your ability to succeed isn't just some kind of, fluffy positive thinking. It's like the crucial first step.
Around like a foundation almost.
Exactly. And it's how that initial belief actually gets you moving towards taking action.
Okay, so then how does that belief, become something real?
Well, Schwartz suggests that visualizing success can really strengthen this belief. It's almost like you're mentally rehearsing a positive outcome. You
Just
know,
kind of setting yourself up for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Yeah,
that's something we can all do, whatever our goals are.
totally. Okay, but then what about, those times when you're just like, I don't know if I can actually do this. Those feelings of fear and doubt.
Right. Those can be huge roadblocks.
Huge. And the book actually spends some time on that, right? Like how to manage those negative thoughts.
It does offer some strategies, and I think that's something we all deal with, those moments of self-doubt.
Absolutely. But here's a question for you. While managing our own doubts is super important, internally, how does that play out when there are real obstacles, in the outside world?
That's a great point because the book really emphasizes the individual mindset, you know?
Right. It's very much about personal responsibility.
Yeah, so it doesn't dive super deep into those external factors.
Yeah, and that leads us to another core principle, the idea of setting big goals. The book is all about aiming high
Yeah.
because it pushes you to achieve more than you would if you were just focused on these tiny little steps.
It's like challenging your own limits, right?
Totally. But then how do we find that sweet spot between, being ambitious and also being realistic?
Right. How do you stay grounded while still aiming for something big and meaningful?
That's the tricky part, right?
It is. And this connects to another big idea in the book, thinking like a leader. Schwartz highlights these attitudes and behaviors that you often see in successful people, things like taking initiative, focusing on solutions.
Right, like being proactive.
Exactly. But I think it's important to remember that leadership and success can look a lot of different ways. It's not one size fits all.
That's so true. And so how could all of this actually apply to someone listening right now?
Well, let's say you're getting ready for a big meeting.
Right.
Thinking big could mean picturing an outcome that really changes the game, not just giving a standard presentation.
I like that.
Or if you're learning something new, a big picture mindset can help you see those major trends and opportunities that others might miss.
That's so interesting.
And even if you're just curious about this whole idea, the core message is that you might have more influence over your achievements than you realize.
More than we think.
Right. But you got to pair that ambition with a realistic understanding of your skills and your circumstances. Confidence is great, but it works best when it's based on self-awareness and a willingness to learn and adapt.
So it's all about balance, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into the magic of thinking big, today, we've seen that idea of belief as a starting point, that foundation, right?
Right.
And then the need to handle those limiting doubts.
Mm-hmm.
We all have them.
We do.
And of course, the power of setting those ambitious goals.
Aim high.
But we've also highlighted the importance of having a balanced perspective,
Absolutely.
acknowledging that there are factors outside of ourselves,
Right.
and that confidence needs to have a realistic base.
So thinking big can open doors, but it needs to go hand in hand with practical actions and a clear understanding of your own situation.
Thinking strategically.
Exactly.
So here's a final thought for everyone listening. Think about one area of your life where you might be playing it a little too safe, where you might be thinking a little too small. And ask yourself, what could happen if you dared to think just a little bit bigger in that one specific area?
That's a good challenge.
That's your challenge for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
See ya.
Bye.